What's going on, everybody? This is the Daily Fantasy Show brought to you by DFO. It is Monday, December 18th. We have a 5-game slate. If you are a DraftKings player, yeah. If you are a DraftKings player, it is the first night of the qualifying for the Fantasy Hockey World Championships. There will be 40 seats. I'm going to take a few stabs at it. Yeah, so I'm going to take a couple stabs at it. If you don't have the bankroll to do it, I would not suggest chasing. But if you're playing some, satellites to the bigger qualifiers, I think that's a way to do it. But yeah, this slate is a little interesting. It's a 5-gamer. Bunch of injuries, players coming back, players out. For a 5-game slate, I'm not in love with this slate by any means, but I think, there's a couple spots where there are some edges. So let's do it. Let's hop right in and let's break it down. First game of the night, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets traveling to Boston to face the Bruins. It is going to be Tuukka Rask against, I would assume, Sergei Bobrovsky. So, Boston, the top line for Boston is pretty expensive tonight. For me, they're one of the top plays on the board. Columbus isn't as good defensively as people think they are. Chances are they are going to get the Pierre-Luc Dubois, Josh Anderson line, which, does deter me off the top line of Boston a bit. Panarin's on that line too. It's probably going to be Bergeron against them. It kind of cancels each other out a little bit here. I still think Boston one's a strong play. I think it does knock down the top line of Columbus a good bit. I don't like targeting lines against Bergeron, especially at home where they hard match. It is just a personal preference of mine. So, is this the gun show? No. It's just hot in my house. So I'm wearing, my Darren Williams red alternate Nets jersey. So for me, for Boston, it's going to be the top line or it's going to be the third line for me. No, you're not crazy. I don't mind the second line either. A little Krejci, DeBrusk, but yeah, Darren Williams when they were still the New Jersey Nets. Little red alternate. I don't mind the second line, Krejci, DeBrusk, Spooner, but really, if I'm going to go depth of Boston, it's going to be the third line. Riley Nash, Danton Heinen, and David Backes. Yeah, I'm gonna blow my bankroll too. Maybe I'll get it out of the way tonight and win tonight, and then I don't have to worry about it. That would be nice. If you're using Boston, I think Krug would be the top choice, followed by McAvoy. Yeah, probably. He's gonna have Akari and Matt Grizzlick or whatever and go, hee hee hee, got that empty net goal, hee hee hee, I'm going to Toronto. He probably doesn't even have a passport. But yeah, so I go Boston 1, Boston 3, Boston 2. I think I like. Oh God, that if you haven't seen the Tommy Wingles goal from yesterday, just load that up. It is probably one of the most ridiculous empty net goals this season, and of course it was shorthanded. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Boston. On the Columbus side, since Bergeron is hard matched against Dubois, I do prefer the Wenberg Bjorkstrand Atkinson line. Again, I'm not huge on Columbus tonight, but it is Rask. I'm not high on Rask. Um, he has been playing better. I don't know if I really want to target Rask in Boston tonight. I don't know. Columbus has been struggling. But if I am gonna use Columbus, it will be that second line with Werenski or Jones. Those are really the only two choices for me on the Columbus Blue line. Yeah, this slate's not too pretty. Tuca, I think, yeah, I don't mind Tuca in a GVP. I'm not thrilled about it. I mean, goalie on this slate is a bit limited. Especially if you're using Boston, I think you can use Tuca. I don't know if you really want to single shot Tuca in there. But I think he's a viable GPP play. Bobrovsky at 7,900 I think is okay as well. It does worry me a little bit how he's been playing. It also worries me a little bit how the defense of the Blue Jackets has stumbled a bit, but I think Bobrovsky under 8,000 is that's a decent price, and I think you can use him in GPPs as well. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Anaheim Ducks traveling to New Jersey. Yeah, the Ducks to face the Devils. It's Corey Schneider against more than likely Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller is probable. Big news here, Taylor Hall, Kyle Palmieri are back, so the top line is Palmieri, Hall, and Hischier. Bratt moves down to the fourth line, which is kind of silly, but second line is Zajac, Coleman, Gibbons. This is the Adam Henrique revenge narrative street tonight. Also the Sammy Vatanen revenge street narrative night. There are, if you're trying to fit into Boston, I think, Anaheim 2 is super cheap. Andrew Cogliano is 3,100. Yeah, well, the second line is probably going up against the Hall line. Ricky Rax on that line as well. I kind of like both. Kind of like New Jersey top line and the Devils second, or New Jersey top line, Ducks second line. I'm not big on using the Ducks. I think this is a good spot for New Jersey. I will say, since Getzlaf and Hampus Lindholm has come back, it does bump down the Devils a little bit for me, but I still like that top line. They play pretty high event hockey with Hall back, and especially Palmieri on that line. They play much better with Palmieri up there than Bratt. So for me, that top line is in play. The defenders are really cheap. Butcher's 3,700. Yeah, the expected goal, I think, is over 1 for the top line, which is, maybe actually be the highest on the slate. I have to go back and check that. Better offensively, worse defensively, but, I'm not really worried about the defense for the Taylor Hall line. Unless you're using Corey Schneider, which I think is viable, but his price is a little high. The defenders for the Devils are really cheap. Vatanen's 3,500, Butcher 3,700. Then you have the Moores, the Santinis, the Seversons, the Greens. They're all 3,000. No. Yeah. I don't know if I want to use a Devils defenseman tonight. Corey Schneider. I don't know. He's old. I'm not a huge Ducks guy. The bias just spews out of my pores. But Corey Schneider, 8,100, I think you can use. It's a tad pricey for me. I'm not overly thrilled about using an 8,100 goalie. But there are cheap lines on this slate. So I think, spending up for goalie is viable. On the Duck side, bless you. Bless you. You know, I'm not huge on this top line here. Getzlaff, Kevin Roy, and Silverberg. It doesn't really do much for me. The second line, Henry, Cogliano, Raquel is more intriguing to me. You know, Cogliano doesn't do much for me, but he is 3,100 if you need the salary savings. There's a lot worse to go, places to go than Andrew Cogliano. I'll tweet out a link on my Twitter after. I don't know about 10 shots on goal, but listen, so it's Ryan Miller tonight, and I think, well, let's talk about the defense first. Cam Fowler, 4,000 is a decent value. Montour's 3,600. You know, Lindholm is cheap as well. We'll see. I mean, I'm kind of mum on the Ducks defenseman, but I'd probably go Cam Fowler. Okay. You know, Ryan Miller is 7,200, and I think if you're not using the Devils, I think you can use Ryan Miller, and I think that may go overlooked as well. Besides, you know, a couple games this year when the Ducks are putting out like 3 NHL skaters, Ryan Miller has been pretty good this year, and you know, that for that price, I think you can take a chance in GPPs. You know, the Ducks are much better defensively now with Lindholm and Getzlaff back. I think this, you know, this could be a high event game. Yeah, I'd much prefer going Raquel too, but I can see this being a pretty high event game, to be honest with you. Especially with Hall and Palmieri back. You know, Hall's going to create a ton of offensive chances, but it's going to create chances on the other end as well. So, I mean, I think both goalies are in play in GPPs. I wouldn't touch this game in cash from a goalie perspective. But if you're not using the Devils, I think, you know, Ryan Miller could be a sneaky GPP option. He has been pretty good this season. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the LA Kings traveling to Philadelphia to face the Flyers. It's going to be Johnny Quick against the Moose, Brian Elliott. Yeah. So this is an interesting game for me. Okay. Go get your moose. He has a moose. So I think, you know, the top line for Philadelphia has been really good this season. They are the second most expensive line stack tonight, 18,000 and change. But they are going to probably be hard matched, almost hard matched. It's probably going to be like a 75-25 here against Kopitar, and that doesn't excite me at all. That really bumps down Philadelphia one tonight for me. I know their expected goals is really high tonight, but I would imagine their expected goals are always really high. It is one of the top on the slate, but if you're going to tell me they're going to get, you know, 15 of 18 or 15 of 19, even 15 to 20 minutes, if they play that much at even strength against Kopitar, it really bumps them down for me. And the same kind of can be said for LA1. I mean, you know, Philadelphia isn't great defensively at all, but their top line is pretty decent defensively. Couturier, Giroux, Simmons. You know, Kopitar's on another level. He is a little expensive tonight, but for me, I'm kind of mum on LA1. I like that Gabrick's up there over Iafallo, and I think that bumps them up a little bit. And it might actually bump up their ownership a bit because Gabrick has been playing much better than Iafallo. But I'm not super thrilled about the top line. The second line of LA would be my target from this game. The problem for me is their usage on the ice. Their minutes have been down. Although the past couple games, Toffoli has seen a decent bump in minutes. He's played like 18 and 15 the last 2 games, which is still ridiculous. He should be getting close to 20 a night. Adrian Kempe, super cheap. Tanner Pearson, super cheap. Let you fit in the expensive lines tonight. The Bostons, the Pittsburghs, the Phillies. If you want to use Philly, the McDavids of the world. If you could tell me, like, if you can guarantee me 15 minutes of even strength, or ice time for the second line of LA, I'd play them, you know. Yeah, we'll get to the Avs. But if I'm gonna use LA2 here, it's gonna be like a Toffoli and a Muzzin, a Toffoli and a Alec Martinez. I'm probably gonna avoid Pearson and Kempe, because Toffoli does get the power play time. I think this is going to be a pretty chalky landing spot as well as Anaheim too. They're around the same price. Yeah, I mean, you can differentiate for sure. I mean, it is a short slate, so I think people will leave off Silfverberg and go with Henrique Raquel. I think I don't get a good read on the Ducks. They're one of the toughest teams for me to read, but I just think so many people are up on this narrative that they might be chalky. I think LA2 might be a little bit higher, but I would be shocked to see Anaheim too low owned tonight. So again, like, you can use Kopitar, Gabrick, and Doughty if you want. I don't think Philadelphia one's anything to fear, shutdown wise. But for me, I prefer to go to Toffoli and a Muzzin, Toffoli, Pearson, Martinez, something like that. In net, I really like Johnny Quick tonight. Colorado one's going to be pretty chalky, but we'll get there. It's the next game. In net, I think Johnny Quick is in play for sure. GPPs, maybe even cash. I don't know. I don't really like using road goalies in cash, but GPPs certainly in play. After you get past the top line, their depth isn't very good, and they're going to be seeing Kopitar. The Kings have been, a good team. I think, Quick is up there with the goalie plays tonight. On the flip side, Brian Elliott, always an interesting GPP play. I would avoid him in cash for sure, but Elliott, he has been playing pretty well. This is a home game. I could see this being fairly low scoring, so I think you can use Elliott in GPPs as well. Whew. So let's move on to the 9 o'clock games. The first one we have is going to be Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. Generally that's, there's little ways to tweak to get a unique lineup. So Pittsburgh Penguins traveling to Colorado to face the Avalanche. Jeez. It's going to be Semyon Varlamov against, I would assume, Matt Murray. The news here is Patrick Hornquist looks like he's out tonight. The lines are a mess. The even strength lines for Pittsburgh are just pretty ugly. Simon's a game time decision. So the lines as it currently constituted are, Kessel's on the third. So it's Crosby, Gensel, and Josh Archibald, Malkin, Hagelin, and Rust, and then Sheehan, Sheary, and Kessel. Yuck. And Kessel's the most expensive winger on the board tonight as a third liner. That does get power play one time, but woof. I fade Pittsburgh anyway. I don't know how long. I really don't know if those lines are going to stick, but we'll see. For me, if I'm going to use them, I'm going to use the Crosby line tonight. I'll use Crosby, Gensel, and Letang, something like that, or Malkin, Letang, Yeah, so maybe like using a, like the double center is always interesting. Using Crosby, Malkin, Letang, or something like that. Having some power play exposure could be the way to go tonight with Pittsburgh. From a line standpoint, I would want to have the yeah. You can go straight power play. It's expensive though. Um, you know, yeah, it's cheese. Well, it is expensive to stack the power play, but from a line standpoint, I go to the top line, then I go to the second line. I don't know. You have to wait and see if Archibald's in. If it could be Simon, he's sick. Um, for me, I'm probably going to fade Pittsburgh. I always fade Pittsburgh, but those even strength lines are pretty abysmal. For the price, I'm probably going to fade. If I'm going to attack the Penguins tonight, it definitely will be some form of the power play with Letang or Mata. But the thing is, like, Eric Johnson is out, and he's their best defender. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what is going to happen with Pitt's ownership here. But the way the lines are constituted, it's hard for me to get excited about using Pittsburgh. I'm fading Matt Murray tonight if it is. 8,300, it's too expensive. Avs score. Thing is, like, Colorado one's good at limiting, high danger scoring chances against. They're good defensively. But But the second line, Kerfoot and JT Compher is just miserable defensively. So we'll see what line gets what here. If it's McKinnon against Crosby, like, that definitely favors Colorado one here, and that does give a little bit of a definite bump to Malkin. But we'll see. On the Colorado side, I love Colorado one again. They went absolutely bonkers on Saturday. They were a nice sharp play. They're pretty low owned. That won't be the case tonight. But they're still pretty cheap. They're only 16,000 and change to full stack. McKinnon is really coming to his own as one of the elite centers in the National Hockey League, especially after the Duchesne trade. I think, he knows it's his team now, so I think you can easily go McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog with Barry. I think that would be the four-man that I want to use. Yeah. You can definitely differentiate elsewhere if you're worried about ownership. I'm more concerned about playing, my favorite plays. I always have a unique lineup, just the way I construct. Yeah. I think he passed it. It was kind of dumb. Well, yeah. Barry would be the defenseman of choice. Okay. It'll be remain to see. I think maybe Sam Girard gets a bump in play here without Johnson, but we'll see. Zadorov, or Zadorov, whatever he goes by nowadays. Yeah, he's 2,900. I don't know if you really need to go there. I mean, it's not like there's so many super expensive plays that you need to punt, but if you do, but Johnson's out, so he's suspended 2 games. So Girard, might see an expanded role for 2 games at least, but we'll see. Semyon Varlamov, we meet again. Yeah. I think, he's a solid GPP play for sure. You know what you're getting. If you use him, it's going to be a fasten your seatbelt ride with him. But he's going to see his shot volume like Ronta did the other night. He sneaks a win, that's going to provide great value. I don't know, how hard you have to punt goalie tonight. But if you want to get a tad contrarian, I think, Varlamov is a good GPP play. I mean, it could burn you really badly. But, same could be said for any goalie, really. So let's move on to the last game of the night. We have the San Jose Sharks traveling to Edmonton to face the Oilers. Yeah, he gets wicked bedhead. It's going to be Cam Talbot against Martin Jones. Logan Couture is out. Camilleri's out. Larson is back. So the lines are Joe Thornton, Melker Karlsson, Joe Pavelski, Tomas Hertl, Mikhail Boddicker, LeBanc. The third line is Tierney, Timo Meier, and Jonas Donskoy, which interests me, but not tonight. They're all like super cheap, and I don't think you really need to go there. It's a line to, if Couture is out, you know, for a couple games, you could look to that line here. Could be interesting. But tonight, I think, you know, outside of Burns, I don't really have interest in the Sharks. If you want to, you know, yeah, Martin Jones is not like $8 million tonight, so. But yeah, I'm probably going to fade him as well. You know, if you want to go to the Sharks, I don't mind, you know, Pavelski Burns mini or something like that. Not overly thrilled with Thornton, but he is cheap, so I think you can go like Thornton, Pavelski, Burns. That's really all the interest I have in San Jose tonight. I just, you know, I always prefer to use Couture, and he's out, so my interest in San Jose, yeah, Puljuvar's on power play too. The lines in Edmonton are McDavid, Lucic, no, Puljuvar, I think. My computer just froze. Cool. So yeah, the second line is Nugent Hopkins, Maroon, and let me finish. We're almost done. Okay. And Strome, I think. Either way, you know, I think what you just said is viable. McDavid, Puljuvar, Clefbaum. Clefbaum is still really cheap, $4,900. Okay, stop. We're almost done. Okay. You know, I think you can use Nurse at $3,800 as well. I think Edmonton wins this game. I think, you know, Talbot is in play for sure at $7,500. He played pretty good his first game back. $7,500 is a fair price. No Couture. I think it's a big loss for the Sharks. I don't know if Talbot's the top goalie, cash goalie. He might be, actually. Talbot or, you know, Rask, something like that. You know, cash goalies on the slate are kind of grim. So, yeah, it's probably Talbot or Rask. I think I mean, McDavid's definitely in play tonight. The second line's the second line is definitely in play. So yeah, I think you can 6-man stack if you really want. It's not something I'm going to be doing, but I think it's in play. You know, the Sharks, it worries me. I'm not a huge believer in Martin Jones, as if you've ever seen the show, you know. $7,400 is a good price for him, I think. But this is a tough spot. So, yeah. That is the 5-gamer. If you have some questions. You don't have any questions? No? Couture is out for the next couple games. He got a concussion. Who's on the second line with Nuge and Maroon? I think it's Ryan Strome. I have to check. Top 3 stacks tonight. I think Boston won, Colorado won, Edmonton won, New Jersey won, Anaheim 2. Strome was on the third. Hold on. My computer is frozen. My brain is leaving me. So it's definitely Nugent Hopkins. It's definitely... No, Camilleri's out. I think Strome did. Yeah, I think Strome moves up. Where's AD when I need him? He knows. Oh, yeah, Drake Kajula. Yeah. Kajula. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's Kajula. My brain is just not responding. For top lines, contrarian, yeah, probably, yeah, probably, maybe Philly. I wouldn't be thrilled about using the top line of Philly tonight, though. That's just me, though. You good? Yeah, we're almost done. I mean, their price differential is pretty high, I would think. So, I mean, if you have the money, I'd go Hall. If you need the salary, I don't mind renting, but I prefer Hall. I don't know. He's a hockey player. Yeah, Anaheim second line's not bad. New Jersey top line's not bad as well either. Yeah, Malkin has like a 200 pounds worth of rust on him. So who's Buddha going to play to win this Q? Probably Brian Boyle. I'll wager some money that Brian Boyle's in his lineup tonight. I will go over them again because they suck. Top cash game goalies are probably, oh, there we go. Probably, Quick. Well, no, not in this order. Probably Rask, Talbot, Quick. I'd use in cash. What? Okay. Okay, hold on, bud. And GPPs, I don't mind Schneider. I don't mind Ryan Miller. I don't know if there's a goalie on the slate that I can go, I don't want to play tonight. Yeah, me either. I don't mind Talbot tonight. I think, Sharks are banged up without Couture. Their lines are pretty ugly, too, so. Yeah, I don't know what people are going to do with the Penguins here tonight. I don't mind Ryan Miller. If you're not using the Devils, I think he's in play. He's been a serviceable backup this year. He's been very good. High scoring game, probably Pittsburgh, Colorado. I mean, that's the safe answer. All right, we're gonna go upstairs in a minute. I can see Boston, Columbus being fairly high scoring too, but I think Pittsburgh, Colorado is a safe bet. Yeah. I don't really look into past performances though. All right, guys, I will wrap it up. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm sweating qualifying a little bit later tonight. If you're in the qualifier, good luck. If you're in everything else, good luck. Hope you win some money. I'll be back tomorrow. We got a nice big slate, probably some decent GPPs. I think a line change special on DraftKings tomorrow. We'll see. Oh no, the dangle is tomorrow. The $8 dangle. So we'll be back tomorrow. Good luck. You can always reach out to me on Twitter. You can find me in the daily Face Off Premium chat. Avery says bye. I say bye, and we'll see you tomorrow.